Hi guys, welcome to today's flight as we are with the 747-200 and we are rocking the RB211 visual engine mod as well. As you can see on the engines, a lovely new engine. It's a visual mod that you can download off the X-Plane forum site. We're going to be doing a flight from Heathrow down to Frankfurt. We're going to be departing out of runway 27 right and we'll be landing on 25 centre. We're going to be using the INS as well. We've got our coordinates, longitude, latitudes, and it should be a really nice, enjoyable flight. Weather's not very nice down in Frankfurt. We've got rain, so with the OpenGL we should see rain effects as well. So something to look forward to. We've got our dual landing and takeoff cam which will be included. So enjoy the flight, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, support the channel. And now we can get inside and do our pre-flight procedures, ready to start the 747-200 up. Here we are on the 747-200. We can go over to the engineers panel. We can go and get the battery, which is on and guarded. We can check all of the bats. We can go and get the GPU, which is online and checked. From there we go get our lighting all in as we light the aircraft up, ready to go. 747 is a lovely aircraft to fly. We're going to be using the INS today, which should be really interesting. As I haven't used the INS in the 747, I've only done like VOR to VOR with HSI and RMI, so that'll be something to look forward to today. So we've got the GPU which is connected, AC DC volt, which we can check. We've got AC DCs under here, so we can check in on everything which is overhead. External 1 and light is illuminated and the cross gen relays have been confirmed and checked. We've got the confirmed split breaker is open and green light, which is also checked. Auxiliary power unit, check the APU DC, which is on. We can go and start the APU, which is checked. APU bleed switch is off. Master APU is start. Zone 1 reset can go on. Once that starts, we can now start the APU. EGT is now increasing, which is checked. Zone air temps, trim air can be opened. The temps are all auto. Pack control switches are auto. And we get the packs on for now. 1 and 3 can go off. We'll keep number 2 on. Isolation valve test. Close and check both ducts. So once we get the APU bleed air in as well, which is all on and good for us. We can now see that the ducts come back up, which is checked. Get the galley power all on. I'm going to do any of the fire tests or anything. I'm just going to run straight through on the departures. Overhead now, we can go get the IRS to align, which is checked. On emergency lights, go get our main panels and everything all lit up. I've toned down the Reshade. I've put a different Reshade in now, so you guys should see the saturation toned down quite a lot. Radio master buses can go on now as we get everything all lit and ready to go. ESC normal manual, which is on. ESC AC is normal, which is checked. Go get the flight directors on, which is also going to be set for us. Leaving out of the runway as we go down on the AVI tab. Going to be leaving out of 27 right, which is going to be the 269. Which is also checked. Leaving out on the departure, we're going to be leaving out on the Honley, where we're going to basically follow London's 1136 to DME. From London we're going to make a left hand turn onto the 136, tracking for the Epson, which is the NDB, which is going to be the 316. Okay, which is checked. We can also turn that on for the ADF, which will be set once we leave. And then once we leave 10 nautical miles from London, we're basically then going to make a left-hand turn to intercept for Detlin, which is then going to take us on to our next start for the INS. So we'll get that all set up in a minute. We'll go in. I'm going to quick align the INS so we can just get on with things as it isn't, so it doesn't take forever. So positioning is in the waypoints now, which we're going to get set for the aircraft's flight today. So first one we're going to put in is Detlin's NTB. So we'll go on to number 1. We've got it set on waypoint as well, which is going to be north 51192. And that's going to give us west 223. Because the rest of the zeros, that'll all go in front. Number 2 is going to be for the Detlin VOR, which is going to be north of 51182 and east 358. Waypoint number 3 is going to take us all the way down to Koski VOR, which is north 51507, and that's going to be east 2391. Waypoint number 4 is for Spirit VOR, which is north of 50309. That's going to take us east to 5374. Waypoint number 5 is Pipet, which is north of 50273. And we've also got east 7024. Waypoint 6 for Onoku, which is the start of the arrival, 50273. And east 7136. Waypoint 7 is taking us down for Tunus VOR, which is north of 50150. And we've got east 8098, which is going to be checked and confirmed. Waypoint number 8 for Frankfurt is north of 50032. And we've got east 8382. And last waypoint is Charlie VOR, which is our initial approach fix for runway 25 left and centre, which is going to give us for waypoint number 9 north of 49553. And we've got east 9024. Okay, which is in. So that is the waypoints. You can see distance to the ADF, which is roughly 10 nautical miles, so that is pretty much spot on with everything on the coordinates side. The INS is all ready and set to go, so we'll carry on with the rest of the checklist. We'll do the throttle test. I don't know if we'll get any sound from the throttles. There's our throttle test, which is checked before we bring up the control column. Galley power's all on, which is set and checked. Flight level, which is going to be set today, which is going to be 4370. We'll go 1000 or higher, and we've got 1024 on for the QNH, which is set and checked. Equipment cooling, arm is guard, as we can see it's guarded. And we've also got the blower select norm switch, which is normal, which we can see, which is normal, otherwise it'd be going on for ditch. No airflow light is extinguished. Number 4 pump switch to auto, which is on. A normal brake guard select switch is closed, and we've got system 1 light is extinguished, which is checked. Jettison panel is fully closed and checked. I'm going to get all of the boost pumps on now, which is set for us, and now we can get ready for our before start. So because we're at our before start, we'll get the London in, which is the 1136, which is checked, and now we're going to be intercepting that onto the 136, which is also set. So once we roll down and we get intercepted down into Epsom for the 316 NDB, which we've got set here. As if we switch it off, we can see there's the NDB basically over to the right of us. We can then switch the INS on, and then we'll be all ready and set to go, and then we'll just make sure that that's on INS as well. So that is the aircraft now fully set up. We can go to our before start checklist. We've got the autopilot auto throttles, which are off. Going in for our takeoff performance, which we're going to get in from the sim. We're looking for a rotate of 163 or 172 for V2 plus 15. That will be 187, which is checked. MCP bounce are V2 plus 15, MCP heading 269, navigation mode is on heading as well, which is checked. MCP initial altitude, we're going up for 370. We'll see what altitude restrictions are on for the departure once we come out, so we need to stay between 4 and 6 all the way until we get to Detlin, and then we'll switch the QNHs over, so I imagine 6,000 feet will be the transition. Nav VORs are set, radio INS switch is on radio, which is also checked. Seatbelt signs, no smoking, can both go on. Window heats can all go on now, which are set. Probe heats will stay off. Everything else overhead is all ready to go, and we are now set. EPR thrust can be set to arm. TOD for takeoff drive, which is set. Fuel boost pumps are all on, and lights are extinguished, which we can see. Middle ones are off. 1 and 4 cross valves are on. 2 and 3 are off. Bleed valves all on. Lights out, which is also checked. Packs 1 and 3 are closed. 2 open. Electro hydraulic pump on. System 4 start. Galley power can go off now. And we are now ready to start the aircraft. So we go ahead and call the tug and get ready to leave. Switch over the APU now. GPU's off, and we are now ready to go. So now we're going to drive us up. As we get ready to go onto the checklist. We can't go to our before start checklist.
Battery on. APU panel check.
Checked.
Auxiliary power check. Engine oil quantity
Which has been checked.
Fuel quantity
Just checked.
7,936 kilograms. Fuel panel
Checked.
check and set. Pressurization controls check and set. Bleed controls check and set. Hydraulic quantity check.
Okay,
check.
all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
EPR computer is going to be TOD, we'll keep that to TOD. So we can skip that.
Circuit breakers
Checked.
check. Indicator lights check. Electrical panel check and set. Air conditioning controls check and set. Fire control and wing overheat panels check and set. Equipment cooling check.
Checked.
Passenger oxygen
Set.
check. Hydraulic panel this check and set. Fuel jettison panel check. Crew oxygen on. Oxygen mask
So connected and bypass pin inserted.
check.
Release parking brake.
ADPs off. Checklist completed.
Okay, checklist is completed. Can go ahead and release the parking brake.
Disconnect ground power.
Let's go set the chocks off.
Ground power disconnected. Cockpit to ground. Remove the chocks.
Okay, so just give it a little tug on the brakes.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, so start valve can now go on.
Ready for engine start.
Check. Go for engine number 1.
Starting engine 1.
Start valve open.
N2's now increasing for engine number 1. We'll see oil attempts 20%. We'll get the call out and then we'll inject fuel.
And 2.
Check.
Fuel on. Lights
GT's
up.
now starting to increase. And engine number 1 is coming to life. I'll show you engine 3 and 4 together so you guys can see them start up. Now engine number 1's now stable. Starter off. Can go now for engine number 2.
Starting engine 2.
Engine stabilized.
Starting engine 2.
Start valve open.
There's engine number 2 now coming in. 20%. Inject fuel. CGT start to increase.
Fuel on.
Starter off. Engine stabilized.
Engine stabilised now for engine number 2. Let's go overhead now. We can go for engine number 3.
Starting engine 3.
Start of valve open.
And start engine number 4.
Starting engine 4.
Start of valve open.
Parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake is set.
Disconnecting toes. Stand by.
Okay, after start checklist, we can go and check all of the frequencies which are all on board, which are checked. Going to have the packs off for takeoff, which are set. Generate relay switches can all be set over now. 2, 3 and 4. Bleeder for the APU can be turned off now. APU can be turned off as well, which is set. ESS AC bus can go to normal, which is also checked. And normal is on as well. Galley power can all go on. Packs 1, 2 and 3 are staying off until after takeoff. Hydraulic system 4 is closed. We can now get all of the pumps on for the hydraulics, which are checked. Hydraulic oil pressure in the green band, which it is checked and confirmed along the
Felis
hydraulic quantity.
disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
See you soon, bye bye. Before taxi checklist, flight directors are both on and checked. Get 1024 in on the QNH. Okay, which is set. Going to do an unrestricted climb. 1024, which is also set and checked. Anti-ice, which will be on under 10 degrees, which is off. Takeoff flaps can be set now as we bring the control column over to us.
Flaps 5.
Stabilizer trim is going to be 5. We'll just get the throttles ready. So flaps 5 is set. On takeoff performance, we're looking for 5 degrees of stabilizer trim, which is checked, and we're also looking at 14 degrees. Optimum climbs 325 will be left around 500 feet of 500 meters of runway. 325 optimum climb, 14 degrees of pitch. So we're going to set the pitch now to 14 degrees. Okay, which is set. And I would say now that we are now ready for takeoff. So taxi lights, etc. can go on. We can take one look outside before we leave. As we're all set now, ready to go, probe heats can go on, window heats are on and checked, seatbelt signs, everything else, got the logos on even though we don't need them, and we can put the engine starts now to flight start, and we're all ready to leave. So, we can release parking brake, and we can now taxi on up to runway 27 right. 27 right. Once we leave out on the taxi, we're going to make a right hand turn, we'll follow it down onto Alpha and then join in at the end for 27. take this right hand turn, which will take us down onto Alpha, and then we'll follow that all the way down. 269 coming out on the heading. As we get down to flaps 5, we can then engage our climb speed, or our climb thrust. To DME, we'll turn on to the 136, which we've got in on London's 11360 on DME number 1, just underneath, above the RMI display. Right, we can get our strobes on in the cabin, let them know that we are ready to go. So as we line up now, can put the brakes on, we'll set the parking brake. So as we are now all ready to go, we're going to be leaving out 2 nautical miles, we make a right hand turn for 136 with an unrestricted climb, 10 nautical miles to Epsom, and then on the 136 we're following on to the 091 for Detlin, which is the 1173. We've got the INS set for number 1, which is set in on the INS for the 316 for the ADF, and the ADF is all set in, ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the INS in as we're going to get ready to intercept. Can release the brakes, push forward on the column. Flaps 10, we'll get in quickly just before we do go. Power on up to 50%. Wait for flaps 10 to come in. Stabilised. And toga. Checked. Airspeed live.
89.
Check throw hold. Get some left aileron in. 100 newton on the column.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate. Positive rate now, hold on to 14 degrees of pitch, 2 DME out, but then going to go on to the 136. Let's hold the V2 plus 15. Gear is now up and off. There's 2 DME, we're on to the 136 now. She's checked. As now track inbound to Epsom. Let the pitch down just a little bit so we can start to climb in. Once we get to flaps 5, then we can retract the flaps, go into our climb speed. So from that 136, got the INS in as well, which we are following in. As that flaps 5 coming through. Okay, flaps 5 is engaged.
Flaps 5.
And now go to climb mode. Let's drop down on our pitch. As we allow the aircraft to now start the climb. It's around 500 feet per minute just to get inbound. As we go on to that 136, we'll now follow all the way through. You see the aircraft trying to climb and get the autopilot in. INS can now go in. Auto throttle and altitude is armed, and we're going for 370. Okay, 370, which is in. As we're just now approaching in for flaps 1. As we're just approaching for Epsom, which is currently in 8 nautical miles. Vertical speed can go in now. As we just lower it down. Now the aircraft starts to climb. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
As we come through now, I'm just ready for 25. IAS can now go in. The aircraft's now going to pitch up. Flaps up, fully retracted.
Flaps up.
This is the weather. We've got gusts of up to 30 knots. 250, which is in. Aircraft's now going to climb up. As we travel now on our way to a lovely Frankfurt. 4,700 feet. After takeoff, we get the packs back on now, which are checked. Secs are all on. Coming through 5,000 feet. We're going to get the QNHs set back over to 2992. Just checked. which is checked and set. Now we go over onto the flight engineers panel and get everything all set there. 2992. So we're now 38 nautical miles from Devon. You can see this horrible weather that's rocking the aircraft. It doesn't look very nice at all as we come through, as there is horrific gusts up here. As we climb up, we're in IES mode, so the aircraft's going to pitch up 425. So seatbelt signs are definitely on now. Ignition start can go off. Tunnels can go off as well. As we climb through 6,400 feet, we go to our after takeoff checklist. So passing 10,000 feet, get the landing lights which will go off, which will be checked. Seatbelt signs are on for turbulence. Landing lights will be off. Vertical speed mode is engaged. We've got IES in now as we're climbing up through 250. As the aircraft's just maintaining on speed. And go back into VS mode so the aircraft can hold a continuous climb. As we pass through 7,002. Going for the vertical speed, we'll probably go up just a little bit more. We should keep our speed nice as we just rise for around just about 2,500 to 3,000 feet per minute. Once we pass 10,000 feet, we'll climb up, passing local transition, we'll put standard 2992, which is set and cross-checked, 1,000 feet below cruise altitude, reduce pitch until desired Mach, and then get the EPR panel on for Mach and cruise. Passing through 8,000 feet. After takeoff checklist is complete. Landing lights are off. Start valve is off as well, which is all checked, and we are now ready for our departure. So as it was a little rocky, that's why we took it out of IES and put it straight back into vertical speed, so we can kind of hold our same vertical profile, and then the speed can fluctuate. So going on now from waypoint 1 to 2, we're past Epsom now, 27 nautical miles as we can see. Deadline is 1173, which is checked. And we can see on DME1 lit up now. Following the HSI, we've got INS in, and we are now 250, just about past 10,000 feet. And we'll speed the aircraft up to 300. Come down to around 1,000 feet per minute. Now the aircraft to accelerate. Stay for 290.
10,000.
Okay, which is checked. I've set the vertical speed back up. Now we can go back into IES mode. I've just rolled around there for 290. Now once you put IES mode in, the aircraft will lock whatever speed it was at when activated, and then it will pitch up to maintain that on the climb out. So I hope you guys did enjoy the departure, as it was a gusty one. And we'll go outside and have a look at the lovely aircraft as she flies out onto her climb out, passing through 11,000 feet. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to leave you with the takeoff cinematics, and once we get back into the cockpit we'll be at our top of descent, ready to come in for runway 25 centre. I thought we'll do 25 centre as 25 left's always there, so we'll do 25 centre today, run right across the terminal block. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, leave comments down below, and I'll see you when we get back for our top of descent, ready to come inbound for 25 centre. So see you guys. flight deck, as we are going to start to make our descent down into lovely Frankfurt. As you can see, with all the Xenviro and everything running OpenGL, you can see the frames taking a bit of a hit up here in the sky. As we're going to be riding down to Anuku now, you see the aircraft now making its left-hand turn. And once we fly through to Anuku from 4 to 5, yarding a ride through and join in as we get down to Tunnels, which is the 11335, which we can get in. Once that comes to life, we've got DME number 2 for Frankfurt, which is in as well. We're going to start to come down now. We're initially down to 10,000 feet. As you're going to be set, attitude select can go in vertical speed, and we can start to descend the aircraft. Speed can go back in, go around can be set. As we now start the descent down into lovely Frankfurt. Times will start to idle back. Capture the speed. As you can see, the speed slowly starting to decrease. Seatbelt signs are on, PA's in use. As we go down for our descent checklist, get the aircraft all prepared, ready to come in for runway 25 centre today. So we'll try 25 centre instead of 25 left, as it is always 25 left, so we'll run straight down by the side of the terminal. So got the speed set on the EPR, which is chat, go around, which is also set as well. We've got 10,000 set on the MCP altitude. Auto thrust is in for the auto throttle. Thrust levels will retard as we come down through 2,000 feet per minute. As you can see, the aircraft slowly starting to slow down. 10,000 feet, get the landing lights on, which will be checked. We're going to roll down from Anuku, which is for 5,000 feet, flight level 110 by ATC. As we get down to Tours, which is the 11335, we're then going to take a right-hand turn to the 120, which is going to be to Frankfurt, which we've got inset on DME number 2. Once we ride down to there, we're going to take the Charlie, which is the 11535, and from coming in on the 114, the approach at Charlie for our initial approach fix. Once we come in onto that 114, we'll basically jump into a hold, spin around onto the 283, and then connect back in 4,000 feet, ready to intercept 11.2 DME. We'll take that left-hand turn. Minimums coming in today is going to be 200 feet, which is also checked. 96 nautical miles now, as we start to slow the aircraft down. So, obviously with knots is basically 1 nautical mile per hour. So right now, if we looked at our HSI 482, so if our ground speed is 482 knots, that means we're doing 480 nautical miles per hour. So to calculate in where we're going to come in, so we're going to drop down to around 400 knots. We'll divide that by 4. It's going to take 15 minutes to roughly get down onto the airport. So as we slow the aircraft down now, go down to 270. Which we checked, passing through flight level 300, coming down at 2,000 feet per minute. Currently 29 nautical miles away as we reach waypoint 4 to 5. And on our charts, 4 to 5 is going to be to Pipep. Then we've got Anuku, and Anuku is then going to ride us in to Tours. Tours is now in 66 nautical miles away. Starting the descent at 12.2 DME from Foxtrot Romeo Delta, which is India Foxtrot Charlie Whiskey's 11.3. So 11.3 DME, we start at glide slope descent 4,000 feet, and coming in around 170. We're coming in pretty hot, so we are going to be looking around 9 to 950 on the descent. Passing through flight level 240, we're going to be at flight level 110 by the time we get to Anuku through to Tours, which is 47 nautical miles to go, coming through 24,000 feet as we slowly deselling on the aircraft, holding down for 270. So the aircraft will slowly start descending. We can check the winds. Currently now 337 at 84, so 84 knot winds at 337, which is basically, we've had like a tailwind, we're doing nearly around about 580 knots, and it was 146 knot tailwind that we had on cruise. As I did take a screenshot of it, as that was something to see. As soon as we made a right hand turn into it, that was it. From the crosswind down into the tailwind, you just see the ground speed on the HSI just start to move erratically up from like 430, went all the way up to like 580 knots. 7 nautical miles. Throttles are at idle as we are slowly coming down to 270, passing through flight level 220 on our descent down. The ILS frequency is coming in, is going to be the 111.55. We've got Frankfurt in at the moment. Charlie's going to be the 11535, which will be set in and checked. Seatbelt signs are on. DME number 1 is for Taurus and DME number 2 is Frankfurt. Still following the INS now. We are 3 nautical miles to then move on to Nuku, and then from Nuku we're going to go down to Taunus. So 6 to 7 is direct down to Taunus, which is going to be that right hand turn, which is then going to take us down onto for Taurus the 106. There's 106 which is in. The right hand turn now is going to come in as the INS moves on from waypoint 627, which is Taurus now. As you send through flight level 200. Weather down in Frankfurt, we've got light rain, a few clouds at 1500 feet, scattered at 2300. Speed brakes can be armed. 1007 is the Q&A, which will switch that over on transition, which will be for us, we'll call 6,000 feet. So we're going to come into Charlie, we'll manually take it onto heading then, and get the aircraft all ready and configured to go, passing through 19,000 feet. Holding on for 270. Don't want to slow the aircraft down too much, but we need to get down to 11,000 feet. Then from 11,000 we're then going to go down to 4,000 on the hold. Max flight level 100, so we can hold it all the way down to Charlie at 10,000 in the hold, as the whole arrival is going to be for around 11,000 feet. Once we come all the way through down to 4,000 into that hold, so we'll say flight level 110 for ATC. We're still 30 nautical miles out from Taurus, which we are tracking. We can see the RMIs, we can see Frankfurt and the Taurus VOL. Frankfurt would be the chunky one, and Taurus would be the thin one, DME 1, and the chunky one is DME number 2 for Frankfurt. Slowly slowing down now through 380 knots on the ground speed. As we pass through flight level 164. So in around about a few minutes or so on the INS, we've got down distance, we've got just under 4 minutes to cover. As we've got the aircraft set for 11,000 feet, we'll slow that down to 4,000. As we now start to drift into the clouds and get ready in for the approach. Passing through 15,003. Target altitude set 4,000. Got EPR comp mode, which is armed in speed, which is checked. Vertical speed mode is engaged. 10,000 feet. Be under 250 knots, just vertical speed to decel, which we'll do in just a few moments as we pass through 14,004. Lovely Frankfurt is just underneath as we come down onto this lovely arrival. We'll set the landing cam up as well once we come in for the approach, so you guys can see an outside view as well, which will be something to look forward to. Flaps 30 coming in for a VREV 30 plus 10, which is going to be around 170, so it's going to be coming in very hot, very fast, looking around near 950 to 1,000 feet per minute. So the 747 is going to come in like a rocket tonight. Minimums is set for 200 foot decision height. Pitch over here.
450, 1000.
Just checking to make sure it's all good. Passing through 13,000 feet. Going to start to 250. Not going to open up the speed brakes or anything. Allow the aircraft to slowly slow itself down as we're coming down for 2,000 feet per minute. So cabin crew, get ready for arrival. Throttles are currently in retard position. Everything overhead is on and set. In the cabin one more time. Flight starts can go on. Charge checked. We can set the QNH, which I'm going to set over here. Should be 299 at 2 for the standard. I'll set that over at 6,000 once we get ready and set to go. And we can go on for our approach checklist.
Approach checklist, please.
Seatbelts and shoulder harness.
Checked.
Check.
Seatbelts and no smoking signs.
On.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Checked.
Check.
Outer brakes.
Medium.
Radio INS switches.
Hold on.
We'll be
10,000.
radio as we get through.
Flight director computer selectors.
Check.
Checked.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Altimeters.
It should be set.
1013. Set and cross check.
Landing data, EPR and airspeed bugs.
Which is
Set
checked.
and cross check.
Seatbelts and shoulder harness. Check. Fuel panel. Check. Fuel heat.
Off.
Off. EPR computer.
Go
Go
around.
around. Cabin altitude. Check. Circuit breakers.
Set.
Check. Approach checklist completed.
Check. 2 nautical miles to go now. Approach checklist is complete. Moving on from 7 to 8, which is then going to give us to Frankfurt as we run it straight through onto the 1142. Charlie's going to be the 11535. So 42 nautical miles away from Charlie as we pass through 7,009. Slowly going to lift up now. We come down for 1,000 feet per minute. is clean speed, so we can drop into flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
And we can slowly get the descent to around 500 feet per minute. Frankfurt's going to be 26 nautical miles. As we come into Frankfurt from runway 25 centre, flaps 1 is engaged, as I want to say, for 250. As we're still 40 nautical miles, so keep the aircraft moving instead of slowing it right down, as we are quite heavy coming in, passing through 7,000. I'm going to get the QNHs set over now, which are 1007, which is checked. 1007. And 1007, 2974 for the engineers panel, which is also set and checked. So, passing through 6,700 feet, blasting our way in, 23 nautical miles to go until we riding through from 7 to 8. As we now get for Frankfurt to Charlie, the 11420, which is in 22 nautical miles to go. So we are tracking inbound to Frankfurt. With current wind as well. The aircraft's just maintaining to keep on track. There's the alert coming in, and then from 8 to 9, which is going to be to Charlie, that's where we're going to take over. As we're coming in sort of 136, once we track back from Charlie, we track inbound, which is going to be onto the 114. We should be set and checked. INS is still in, we can take it out so we can see what's going on as well. Then we've got 7 to 8, 8 to 9. So just approaching down now into Frankfurt. And as you can see, there we are. We are on track. And as we come through, it's probably just a little bit off. So we'll make a right hand turn, just deviate off now. I think the INS has just gone off just a little bit. So we'll deviate ourselves in. Frankfurt's over on DME number 2. Charlie is going to be coming in for DME number 1. We can see on the RMI that Charlie is down for around 165. Up down to 295. So the aircraft down to 240, which is checked. Fire flaps 1. So the INS went a little bit funny, so what we'll do is we'll manually track now, just like we was doing VOR to VOR. So you can see the RMI now is over at 150, we need it to come down in for 114. So the more we move away from it, the more the RMI will move closer, and then we can switch on the VOR lock, and then we'll intercept onto the 114. We'll be coming down for 4,000 feet. Still holding 240. VOR lock is in. We can see the RMI needle now slowly starting to move down. Once it comes down to the 114, we'll manoeuvre the aircraft around, and then it'll intercept down on for Charlie. Just still 18.8 nautical miles, just slowly drifting away, so then we can get the RMI to move. So you'll see the RMI needle now start to slowly keep moving along as we move back. So we're currently moving in, we've got 211 as we're currently set, 211. The aircraft will slowly start manoeuvring itself around. If we move just a little bit more further, we can then get the aircraft around. So we go to 230. As the RMI gets near to 120. We'll then get the aircraft moving onto a left-hand turn, ready to come in. So you can see the weather isn't very nice, as we've got 20 knot winds. There's altitude select, which is in. The RMI needle now is slowly moving down towards the 120 mark, which we're then going to take to intercept down in onto the runway. We'll turn this off so we can see. So you can see we're going to turn around to intercept down in for Charlie. We'll turn that off so there's no cheating. As we hold now for 4,000 feet, which is checked. Altitude hold is in. RMI is now just slowly moving. Once it gets into near that 120 position, then we can get the aircraft moving around. As we're coming in on the 114, so it's right near 120. We're basically moving sideways now with Charlie. 120 starts to come in. VOR lock is armed. 120 starting to come through, and in a few moments time we'll make that left hand turn. We'll start to make left hand turn now. VOR log will go yellow, and then we'll intercept down in for Charlie. Slow down to 220, down to flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
Okay, there's a VOR lock now intercepted. It will follow with the HSI as we track to 114. 15 nautical miles to go, flaps 5 is down. So the INS went a little bit funny, as you can see. We was off track. If I didn't notice, then we would have been completely off course. But we're taking it into like manual VOR to VOR now, just HSI, etc. 14 nautical miles to go. As we turned off our positioning, so then we can't cheat to see where we are. We're going to be coming in on the 114, which we've got set on the courses. We are currently on DME number 1 with 13 nautical miles away. Once we come down in on the 114, we're then going to jump into the hold, where we're going to go on to the 103. And then we'll spin it round for the 283, and then intercept onto the 338. Once that's all done, we'll get the ILS in, then we'll be all set to go. Flaps 5 is engaged. Holding 250 knots on our ground speed. 10 nautical miles to go. We can get the ILS, which is the 11155. Which is also checked. So we're 9 nautical miles out from the airport. 10 nautical miles out from Charlie VOL, as you can see down on for the RMI. So bring the controls over as we get the aircraft all ready to come in. Holding for 4,000 feet, 80 DME to go. A little bit choppy coming in. One quick resight of the METARs. 22 knots, sorry, is still in. 6.3 DME to go. Gonna hold in on for our heading. The wind's coming down. It's 30 knots now. I'll keep an eye on that. You can hear the rain coming in as well. Which is set. So here comes the lovely rain for us from OpenGL. 3 nautical miles to go now, and put the head and select on so the aircraft doesn't get funny as we move across. Once we move over the VOR, we're then going to move on to the 103. So we'll move the aircraft out for 103. Okay, and we'll get a timer as well. So 1 nautical mile to go now. Okay, swing fast. On to a left hand turn now. Which we'll initially run onto. see on the RMI whereabouts we are to Charlie. As we just moved past from it, we're going to set Charlie back down onto the 283. So now that's done, we go back onto the 103. And once we roll down into 283, we can then turn around and intercept. So I'm going to slow the aircraft right down now, we're going to flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
So there's a 103 which is in. Wait for the RMI indicator to get to around 280, as then we're going to move back in. So in around about 20 seconds we'll make a right hand turn back to intercept. That's going to intercept us back down onto 283. Okay, RMI needle slowly moving. As you can see, we're going to be going on to the 283. So we'll put the 283 in now. As the aircraft now manoeuvres itself around. .283 for Charlie, which is in. Holding 4,000 feet as the aircraft comes around the bend. So the 2A, get the VOR lock in just to line us up. There's the 283 which is in, and we're now tracking back inbound, where we can then make that right hand turn onto the 338. Once we're all set in and we switch over back to heading mode, we'll then get the aircraft's ILS system all ready and set. Still holding 4,000 feet, 200 on the speed, which is set on 202. 8 nauticals in. We're currently heading on the INS, the desired track. Our heading is 281. Okay, which is also checked. So wait till we get near. Then we're going to make that right hand turn onto the 338. Out wipers on full blast. 6.2 DME. 11155. The ILS is 11155 for the 247. So currently 5 nautical miles to go now. Going to hold the aircraft into heading mode. We've got the 247 for the 11155. Let me just put that back. We get Charlie back in, which is the 11535. Once we pass Charlie, then we can intercept and get the aircraft configured. So we keep it on the 11535. About 2 nautical miles to go, turn the aircraft in. It's going to be the 338. Turbulence is getting quite bad. To go. There's the 383. Okay, there's the 338, which is in and checked. 11.2 DME from Charlie is where we get the aircraft all ready to go. Okay, which is checked. Go to 111. 55, which is in for the ILS 247. Yeah, which is checked. 11.2 DME from Charlie is where we're then going to make the left-hand turn to intercept down in for the runway. As we can see, 11.2 DME from Charlie is where we make that left-hand turn. And then that's going to start us in for 11.3 DME. We're just going to come in for the approach. Can we now stand at flaps 10? So we can now go down to our flaps 20.
Flaps 20.
Checked, green light. DME as we make that left-hand turn. Very choppy. Come in. And when we turn off lights on, everything can come on. Seatbelt signs are on and checked. 1007 for the Q&H's. We've got auto brake, which is going to be set for medium as we come through, holding 182 for flaps 20. 11.2 DME from Charlie is where we're going to make that left-hand turn to intercept. Currently 6.6. Still holding 4,000 feet. So for the approach channel, it's got a QNHs, which is 1007, which is set and cross-checked on either side. Coming for the approach for 11155 onto the 247 degree course, which is checked. 11.2 DME, made that left-hand turn onto the 247. So 2 DME to go. So if we do get any rain, I'm going to leave them on for now. We can turn them off. If they come on by the time we come in for the approach, then we'll get them back on before we disconnect. DME, 2.2 DME to go. And then we'll switch over on the ILS. The descent's going to start at 11.3 DME. Okay, there's 10 DME. There's 11, 1, and 247, which is checked. ILS is in and armed. stabilizers captured.
Localizer alive.
Check. Oh, so it's starting to come down now. So we get gear down.
Gears down, green light.
Check. So it comes down, just waiting now, 1 bar away. Then we're going to start to go into that descent, 3 degrees, we've got 200 foot on the decision height, which is checked. The aircraft's now going to go into the glide slope, which is also set and checked. Currently 12 nautical miles, we'll hold 182 before we go into flaps 30, we're about 5 nautical miles away. So enjoy the view guys as we get ready to go. Checklist auto throttle mode, speed is for approach which is checked, speed brake which is armed and set. Flaps 20 gears down on glide path which is also checked and set, gears down, lock 3 green, 1007 in for the Q and H. Go around altitude which is set 4,000 feet, landing checklist complete. As you send through 3,600 now. Passing 10 nautical miles. Aircraft is fully established, landing lights, everything are on and checked. Anti-ice can now be turned off. There we go to flaps 30, 170.
Flaps 30.
There's rain coming as well, so we'll get the lamps on just in case. Absolutely set, green light. It's passing 2,500 feet AGL. Speed checked 170. Landing checklist complete. So, airport's in sight, 1000 checked, and disengage the autopilot, disengage the auto throttle. I've controlled the aircraft.
Sync. Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, speed reduce armors. And this is our rate. Pressure on the column. Frankfurt Airport, guys. Those speed brakes can be set back. There's an aircon. Absolutely fully retracted.
Flaps on.
Flaps up with your chains. So start to slow the aircraft down now and get landing lights, which can go on, runway tunnels can go on, get runway tunnels on for taxi, stripes can go off there, and welcome to Frankfurt, guys. Flaps are fully retracted now as we set them back. This way it's going to be turned off, and video queue will set up in a moment's time. So, hope you enjoyed the flight, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, support the channel as we rise for 3,000 subscribers. And I'll see you again very soon for the next flight on the channel. So take care for now, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.